Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nemera Innovation Lab Startup Competition. My name is Sam Stavig. I am a Senior Partnership Manager here at Matter. Matter is a healthcare technology incubator, an innovation hub built on the belief that collaboration between entrepreneurs and industry leaders is the best way to develop healthcare solutions. We are delighted to be a part of the Nemera Innovation Lab Startup Competition again this year. So we've worked with Nemera over the last 7 years on this event and have seen some really tremendous companies come through the program. Nemera Labs has really helped propel numerous digital health and med device startups by providing them with mentoring, connections to partners and capital, and prize money through their various competitions. This year, the Nemera Labs team received some really outstanding applications and have selected their top 10 solutions, which you will hear from today. Each team will give a quick pitch to the audience, and you all will be able to see the presentations and hear the winning teams. So before we dive into those presentations, I'd like to pass it to our partner at Nemera Innovation Labs.
Thanks, Sam. You covered a lot, so that was a good introduction to the whole event. A little bit about Nemera. Nemera is a world-leading drug delivery device solutions provider. We put patients first when designing and manufacturing devices that maximize treatment efficacy. Today we have a pretty quick event. We're trying to keep everything rolling at a smooth, rapid pace so we can finish the whole thing within a lunchtime or even less. So you're going to hear from a big group of 10 different startups. But before we jump into that, I wanted to thank several folks. First, I wanted to thank Brian Cave, Leighton Paisner for all their support. Especially, I want to call out Gino Serra, who's a partner there, who has worked with a bunch of different startups and consistently finds a way to support and engage with these groups to kind of help them move forward. So if you're a startup out there and you're trying to connect with a good legal group at the front end of development, these guys have done a phenomenal job consistently. I also want to thank the judges. I'm going to start with Barbara Goodman. Barbara, can you just pop up on screen and then I'll... Hi, Barbara. So Barbara is the head of Cures Within Reach, and we have been fortunate enough to have her as a judge year over year to support this activity, and we just want to say thank you. Thank you, Barbara.
My pleasure to participate. Thanks for having me again this year.
Okay, and then I'm going to jump on to Katie Arnold. Katie, we just want to jump on real quick. Hi, Katie. So Katie is the head of Sprig Consulting. Again, a phenomenal resource, giving her time and energy and effort on a consistent basis, and we really appreciate her taking the time to be part of this on a regular basis. So again, thank you, Katie.
Yes, very excited. Thank you.
Next, we have Vikram Parnani, which I don't know if he was able to make it for this event, but Vikram, if you're on, ping me. Otherwise, I'll just kind of give a quick background. Vikram is actually a VP of Horizon Therapeutics. Great. So it's a good person to have on and connected. So hopefully we'll hear more from him as the event goes on. And then Heather Walsh, can you go live? Hi, Heather. Okay, so Heather is from MHub and another great resource that has been working with the whole ecosystem to really support and drive new things in medtech and drug delivery. So Heather, if you have a quick intro you want to say?
No, that's good. Yeah, we're heading up a new medtech accelerator with 9 teams, and so it's been fun to watch these teams pitch. So thanks for having me.
Always, you're great connection. So good to have you. Okay, and then Simon, I just saw you come on, so I'm gonna. So Simon, I work with Simon. Fortunate enough to work with Simon from Nemera. He's actually traveled to the U.S. from France, and he's actually in our office in Chicago this week. And Simon, do you have a quick intro?
Yes. Hi, everybody. It was really a pleasure to contribute to this really nice exercise. Very good, let's say, finalist panel. It's great. It's really amazing presentation. So let's say, happy to contribute, happy to be there, and really happy to join from the US.
Fantastic. All right. So before we roll into the actual event itself, I did want to say thanks also to all the startups that applied. We had a good group of startups, as Sam mentioned at the onset, some really strong solutions. It was some not easy choices as we went through a lot of these different decisions, and we're going to hear some more from all these to kind of lock it in. But I want to say thank you for really supporting innovation and growing the ecosystem, as well as really having a potential impact on people's lives. So we're excited to see where this technology is going to take us and what kind of impact it'll have. So with that said, I'm going to pass it back to the Matter team and let them start with the first pitch.
Thanks so much, Steve. All right, well, we will dig into those quick pitches, and we're going to start out with Madison Scientific. So Tyler, feel free to turn on your video and share your slides.
Okay, great. Hey, everybody. I'm Tyler Wonke, CEO of Madison Scientific, and we are developing smart neuro devices. And we're starting with hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus is the buildup of fluid in the brain, sort of this fluid-filled area of the brain. It causes the brain to expand into the skull, and if not treated, it's deadly. Less than 10% of kids who get it survive to the age of 10. It's the most common need for neurosurgery in kids. Fortunately, we can treat it with neurosurgery and by implanting a device called a shunt that diverts fluid from the brain through a proximal catheter, through a simple valve, and through a distal catheter to get absorbed somewhere else in the body. And this has improved survival considerably. However, there's a big problem. These shunts fail a lot. About 40% fail within 1 year, and then you're right back where you started. So we know why they fail. The literature says, okay, they fail because they obstruct, they get clogged, but no one really knew why they clogged until now. Our co-founder, Dr. Benny Iskandar, the head of pediatric neurosurgery at University of Wisconsin, has uncovered the hypothesis of why this happens. And it seems to be, and all the data suggests that these pressure spikes that happen from daily living, from coughing, sneezing, getting up, cause overdrainage. That overdrainage causes the tissue to involute into the catheter and causes it to clog. And with this, the thought was, we just can't go on any further with a dumb shunt. We need a smart shunt to fix this problem. And so here's our solution, the smart shunt. You can see here the different aspects here. We have a advanced catheter that goes into the brain, and then a smart valve. And we actually have a pressure sensor that communicates with the smart valve that doesn't exist today in the market, but we have a smart pressure sensor that will communicate with the valve and cause it to only open or close when it senses, true hydrocephalus, not when it senses those normal transient spikes in pressure. And then we also have a smart reader that can get a spot check of your intracranial pressure at any point in time. Again, none of this exists today in the market. So that's the smart shunt. We think it could be about $1 billion annual revenue opportunity for the device. Getting a little reverberation here, sorry. On a per patient basis, you can see that compared to the current standard of care where there's many revisions per patient, we can be a fraction of the cost by limiting it down to 1 or none revisions per patient. We have a team that's a bunch of veterans who have done this before. I've taken innovative and also edge surgical from early stage startups to now commercial entities, one generating revenue. Mike Nagy, our CTO, took Endotronics to now a company worth $200 million, also a local company, and a few others from the community here in Chicago and Madison, including Dr. Iskandar. And we've already raised a good chunk of our seed round, all with non-dilutive capital. We've been successful at getting a National Science Foundation grant and other grants to do early benchtop testing. We'll continue that into next year, and then we'll raise a Series A to go and do our final animal studies, get FDA clearance, and then either have a sale to a larger company at that point and exit, or raise a Series B to actually do some human studies and a commercial launch and grow revenue on our own. So I'm Tyler Wonke, and that's Madison Scientific.
Thank you so much, Tyler. All right, next up we have Compre.
So last month we got a call from one of our sons. His friend Joey had overdosed. He was 27. Joey spent 14 years battling his addiction. If he'd lived 3 more years, he'd have a 50-50 chance of recovering. No wonder we're losing so many. We can only improve what we first measure. If we were managing anything else on the planet affecting 1 in 5, we'd routinely screen for it, and not with tools that only support ineffective revolving door treatments, and in Joey's case, deadly ones. Compre is a holistic, quantifiable, online addiction risk assessment that integrates several validated screens into one disruptive digital tool offering clinicians quick turnaround reports, optimal level of care, targeted prevention and treatment, and even a wellness guide for those without a provider. Capri predicts risk, prevents onset, and promotes remissions with quality care tied to outcome measures. Based on decades of research, Capri's build model captures a lifetime of addiction risk. Clients complete an online 15 to 30-minute self-report with secured delivery. Recommendations are comprehensive, individualized, and include a whole range of actionable guidance. Plus, it's very easy to use. 10,000 machine learning algorithms inform a 5-page snapshot of risk stratification and 5 diagnostic timelines, plus motivation and denial, to name a few. Currently, only 1 in 200 recover. By giving providers, payers, and employers Capri's unique guidance, we can double who we identify, treat twice as many of them, and achieve 8 times the current savings and recovery rates. Capri is about paying less for better care. Only a tool with such comprehensive support can move the health equity needle forward in 2 critical ways. First, by improving health equity access, and secondly, by increasing illness management parity. Capri's game-changing innovation supports a wide range of strategic partnerships. Here's our team. Doug says hi. 70,000 other Joeys this past year alone compelled each of us to do whatever it takes to better assess, treat, and manage this deadly epidemic. Thanks for listening.
Wonderful job, Calvin. Thank you so much.
Just go back on.
Up next, we have the Therapy team. So Alexa, feel free to come on video and share your slides.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexa Jones, and I am the founder of Therapy Medical. And Therapy is the creator of Snuglet, which is the first wearable treatment for infant jaundice. Jaundice is a condition that affects over 60% of all babies, and it can cause brain damage, cerebral palsy, and even death if it's not treated within the first 2 weeks of life. It's treated with a technology called phototherapy when a specific wavelength of blue light is exposed directly to the baby's skin. Current devices are outdated and they cause stressful separation between mom and baby during the duration of treatment, which is between 5 and 14 days. Also, these devices only cover a small part of the baby's skin. So nurses now use multiple devices at one time. Nurses are now asking for a device that's both effective, but also family-centered. We created Snuglet with over 300 nurses, doctors, and parents to be a solution to these problems. Snuglet is a portable, wearable phototherapy swaddle that treats infant jaundice while allowing for continued maternal-infant bonding and breastfeeding throughout the duration of the baby's jaundice treatment. It covers the baby's entire body, so you only need to use one device at a time when the baby's being treated. And Snuglet can be battery operated, so it allows mom and baby to stay together during the first week of life, whether they're in the hospital or they're at home receiving treatment. Snuglet will use the razor blade model. The light pad that actually provides treatment is the razor part of the bottle, and it's reusable between patients. And the fabric swaddle is disposable, and that allows for a recurring revenue source for us, but it also keeps the baby clean and dry and snug in their swaddle throughout the duration of treatment. We plan to first launch with select hospital partners in the US, initially focused on the top 10 states with the highest birth rates. Globally, there's over 84 million babies born with jaundice every year. Our primary market is the US, where over 2.5 million babies, or over 2 million babies are born every year with jaundice. And our secondary market is India, where over 15 million babies have jaundice every single year. Babies in every country of the world are born with jaundice every day and can benefit from Snuglet. We have a wonderful team that we've been growing over the past few years. And I'm actually the original inventor of Snuglet, which I invented as part of my capstone at Michigan State College of Engineering a number of years ago. We're currently raising a seed round, a $1.3 million convertible note round led by Invest Detroit Ventures. And we're seeking the final $650K of that note. We're currently in the R&D prototype stage, and we'll be using this funding for our final manufacturing setup and product testing, and ultimately our FDA submission. We'd love to hear from investors interested in helping future generations of newborns spend their first moment of their life in the arms of their parents. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexa. Next up, we have XN Health. So Ella, feel free to come on video and share your slides.
Hey there. Before I share my slides, my name is Elizabeth Jaworski. I'm the co-founder and CEO of XN Health, but I'd like you guys to do some stuff along with me. I can't see you, so I hope everybody's doing it. I want you to make a fist with your hand and then a tight fist, and put your mouth up to that fist and try to breathe in and out. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, this is what it feels like to breathe for patients who are trying to come off mechanical ventilation. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're trying to do to help these patients. So mechanical ventilation is a life-saving treatment providing respiratory support to patients who can't breathe on their own. But unfortunately, we're actually causing these patients inadvertent harm to them as well. And in that case, this harm is called ventilator-induced diaphragm dysfunction, or VIDD for short. Prior to ventilation, the healthy diaphragm measures to about the thickness of this notepad. But unfortunately, due to the lack of use, after about 3 days of ventilation, the muscle dramatically weakens, reducing that thickness in half. And it's the lack of this muscular integrity that makes it difficult for patients to breathe on their own. The respiratory muscles are critical for a patient's ability to breathe, and studies have shown that on average, 40% of ventilator time is time spent weaning off the ventilator. And the longer patients on the ventilator, the less likely they are to come off of it. These patients have strong correlations to increased incidences of infections, lung injuries, mortality, poor long-term outcomes, among many other complications. Not only does mechanical ventilation have a high cost to the patient, but ventilation puts a huge burden on the healthcare system, where mechanically ventilated patients cost the system on average $4,000 a day for their stay in the ICU, where added complications can increase that burden even further. Therefore, we found that there's a strong need to help these patients wean off the ventilator faster. So if wean failure is caused by respiratory disuse, we thought, how can we get these patients to work out this muscle to keep it strong while these patients are ventilated and sedated? Well, the diaphragm is controlled by the phrenic nerve, which runs from the cervical spine alongside the trachea and terminates in the diaphragm. To solve this problem, we can artificially stimulate the phrenic nerve to induce diaphragmatic contractions that mimic a more natural state. Research has shown that this is actually an effective approach to mitigate the progression of VIDD. In fact, there's a bunch of companies that are trying to solve the VIDD in this way, but unfortunately, these other therapies are invasive, are limited to the patient's anatomy, or don't provide direct stimulation. Therefore, we've developed a less invasive, simple to use phrenic nerve stimulating device that overcomes many of these problems. Our device leverages a piece of equipment that's already in these patients. Our system has a catheter that is deployed through the center of the endotracheal tube, and it contains stimulating electrodes that come into contact with the patient's trachea to provide stimulating current to the phrenic nerve. We have a unique connector that allows the device to be deployed into the ET tube while still maintaining ventilatory support, and a control unit that identifies the stage of the respiratory cycle and provides pacing in current with, in synchrony with the ventilator. In an animal study, we've been able to test a prototype to show that we've been able to induce diaphragmatic contractions in pace with the ventilator. Overall, our product expedites ventilator wean times, thereby shortening the patient's ICU stay, improving their outcomes, and reducing the overall economic burden. Prior to the pandemic, there were about 13 million patients on mechanical ventilation in the world, and this translates to about a $10 billion market opportunity. Our team includes myself, Lance Black, Mehdi Razavi, and Ron Mills. We've previously founded 9 medical device companies. We've filed many patents and raised millions of dollars in funding. And thank you. We are XN Health. Inhale another tomorrow.
Thank you so much for that presentation. All right, next up we have Acroval Lab. So
my name is David Liu. I'm the founder of Acroval. We're a team of 2 right now. I'm myself am a former peritoneal dialysis patient who spent 500 days doing treatment in my bedroom, and my partner is Greg Nelson. He's an engineer with more than 10 years experience designing and delivering medical devices to markets internationally. So right now there's a big push to grow the adoption of PD because it's more cost effective and leads to better outcomes. When I was on PD about 2 years ago, all my nurses warned me about peritonitis, which is this infection that's common with PD. and how I should be extra careful because if I'm not, that could lead to my death, apparently. So peritonitis, as it turns out, is the greatest barrier to adoption because it's responsible for the risk and the degree of responsibility that patients have. And preventing peritonitis currently requires patients like myself spend a month learning aseptic technique, which is a medical procedure they use in hospitals. And then we, the patients, have to be the ones to perform aseptic technique at home multiple times a day by ourselves. So what happens? Patients make a lot of mistakes, and human error is responsible for contaminations that lead to peritonitis. And currently, all the technologies, at least that I use, they all add to aseptic technique and they increase the complexity of the treatment. So I wanted to make PD less risky and easier for my fellow patients, and I came up with this in my bedroom, the Acroval connector, which is a patent pending aseptic connector that lets patients do PD safely in the near absence of aseptic technique by facilitating connections inside an enclosure. Conceptually, it's very similar to aseptic connectors used in laboratories that have had their sterility assurance validated. But the mechanisms and assemblies that differentiate and make our solution patentable are designed for patient end use. So by absorbing the responsibility of aseptic technique, this will reduce the rate of peritonitis, simplify the PD process, and allow patients to perform treatment anywhere in their cars with the dog on their lap, which is what they do anyway. And that's how peritonitis happens. Our vision is to scale our product to where 50% of patients use it through a combination of direct sales of a 510K approved device, which will happen by 2023. And then later on, take that clinical data, use that to gather the clinical data, and then leverage that to get licensing partnerships with systems currently in use. So thanks.
Great job, David. Thank you so much. Next up, we have the Neurostasis team.
Well, my name's Kurt Gill. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Neurostasis, and I'm really excited to give you a glimpse of what we're doing today. So at Neurostasis, we put neural tissue into stasis as a much needed bridge to care for acute ischemic stroke patients. An ischemic stroke is caused by a blockage of blood flow in the brain, typically a blood clot. For the most severe strokes, there's good and bad news. Treatments exist, but we cannot get to these treatments fast enough. In a typical scenario where a patient is transferred for more specialized care, the goal is to get the patient to a procedure where we can actually go in and remove that blockage. But from the point of diagnosis to that treatment, it takes on average 4 hours in the United States. Studies show that those 4 hours in a stroke equates to 14 years of quality life lost. In stroke, time is brain. These delays add up to a massive cost of $46 billion in the United States, a number that continues to balloon. At Neurostasis, we address this need by slowing down that growth of ischemic damage to give everyone more time and a better chance at recovery. We do this through non-invasive electrical stimulation, targeting nerves around the eyes and the ear. We jumpstart brainstem reflexes that preserve core organs by increasing blood flow and reducing inflammation. We create value for multiple stakeholders. We give patients the opportunity to live disability-free. We help hospitals capture value by reducing patient acuity. And we decrease the long-term economic burden of stroke for payers. The grander vision for Neurostasis is to be the AED or defibrillator for stroke. Capturing patients at the earliest time points provides not only the greatest clinical impact, but presents the largest global commercial opportunity as well. We're a multidisciplinary team supported by clinical advisors at the Texas Medical Center in Houston, where our company spun out. We have access to resources and mentorship through institutions such as Johnson & Johnson Center for Device Innovation. To date, we've developed the foundations of our technology, been accepted into accelerator programs, made our first pre-submission to FDA, and raised initial funding to further our development. Our focus is to get this non-invasive technology to the clinical population as quickly as possible. To do that, we'll be raising a round in Q1 of 2022 to get us prepared for our first in human. We're on the cusp of bringing a game-changing technology to address a massive clinical need. If that resonates, we invite you to join us on this journey. Thank you.
Wonderful job, Kurt. Thank you so much. Next up, we have the OnAcoustics team.
I'm Beth Rogozinski, and I'm here to talk to you today about liver disease. Over 2 billion people globally are at risk of liver disease, and this number is expected to rise dramatically in the coming years, driven by the obesity epidemic, which is causing a rise in NAFLD or fatty liver. UCLA Health estimates that the prevalence of NAFLD is up to 46% of the US population. And current preventative approaches to catch and diagnose this kind of liver disease are complex and time-consuming with several appointments and specialists involved. They're expensive or use highly invasive biopsy. But there is a better way. Let me introduce you to the Onyx. The Onyx is a complete liver surveillance and diagnostic solution for point-of-care liver evaluation. Our solution is now tested on over 4,000 patients, and it offers a unique and inexpensive approach to quickly examine a patient's liver. Within minutes, any clinician or care team member can perform the exam and get quantitative results. OnAcoustics makes the complex, expensive, and invasive process of diagnosing these kinds of structural liver diseases seamless, painless, and done in 5 minutes. OnAcoustics is a software-only solution that leverages a rise of these low-cost ultrasound systems with a very unique approach. We mine the sound in ultrasound and enable ultrasound to go beyond what can be seen by the human eye. We provide quantitative insights by comparing these sound signals to patients in our database with known and confirmed disease, making this a valuable point-of-care tool. With these low-cost systems, we can deploy an end-to-end solution for under $5,000 and charge a per-scan fee that gets reimbursed via existing CPT codes, so clinicians get reimbursed as they improve the lives and the health of their patients. Join us in our quest to revolutionize diagnostics. We've had great traction and momentum and look forward to continuing to tackle the growing epidemic of liver disease and then on to other diseases with the power of AI-based point-of-care solutions.
Wonderful job, Beth. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Clixa. Mehmet, feel free to come on video and share your slides.
Hello, everybody. This is Mehmet Kazgan, founder and CEO of Clixa. So the biggest problem we see in clinicians, providers, doctors, they really are having problems accessing the actionable data to provide better care. As we know today, they spend a lot of time in electronic medical records, and it's mostly administrative data for claims and billing. And half of the time during the visits are spent either typing because of the requirements and compliance. And a lot of revenue is even lost with that kind of information to be collected in EMR. It's a very simple problem, but it's a very hard problem to solve as a solution. So what we did, I got engaged with a clinic myself. I own it since 2018. It's a pain treatment facility. And by watching the doctors over there, I actually implemented Clixa after starting in 2016 by creating intelligent onboarding on a mobile version and integrating that into EMR systems. So it's a real-time EMR bidirectional communication with the electronic medical records that collects information and paints the picture for 8 different subspecialties and snapshot every part of the treatment for the doctor in their own terms. So we wrap around the EMR. We have 8 EMR integrations, homegrown, that we built, and the data processing is patented with the clinical data collection. And we can also use the same mobile platform, offering the solution to the doctors and providers to remotely monitor patients. I think the most important part of this is the partnership with American College of Cardiology. We actually launched 5 conditions by building clinical algorithms to monitor, and they became an investor and built the cardiovascular monitoring and onboarding with us, and that was launched in past 4 months. So the market is big. So we're trying to kind of like follow the adoption with virtual and provide information for AI and basically offer solutions for multi-comorbidities in the chronic care management. The value proposition is simple. We collect data from EMR and patient outcomes and push it over. Our business model is provider per month basis. We have 3 contracts with health systems already and 14 paying customers since 2018. And we grew about 12x in 2020. Since 2018, we launched our first application. And our solution is the only multi-subspecialty end-to-end virtual health platform that provides data collection and monitoring for the patients. And we're raising 3 million, which we raised 2.3 million previously to expand our scale, our business for the next 2 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mehmet. Next up, we will hear from Limber Health.
Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Grinner. I'm the CEO of Limber Health. Limber is a solution focused on musculoskeletal or orthopedic conditions such as low back pain. And our mission, we're focused on delivering an in-clinic plus digital approach. We believe the future is an in-clinic where a therapist will see you, but then there's also a digital supplement to that. And we're focused on providing that experience. And we've been clinically validated at the Mayo Clinic through 2 clinical trials. A few months ago, we won the most impactful new technology award by the most prestigious medical journal for rehab medicine. And most excitingly, we were creators of new CPT codes that enable providers, physicians, and physical therapists now to manage their patients digitally for the first time in orthopedic conditions. And what we're tackling is now the #1 cost driver in healthcare, musculoskeletal conditions. And the 2 options today that we see that aren't delivering the right results is in-clinic physical therapy. You have issues with compliance and people making it into clinics due to scheduling challenges, co-pays. And then we have a number of competitors that are focused on a digital-only approach, but we feel that that's not addressing the true cost drivers, that those patients that really are seeking out in-clinic care. And so we're focused on merging that digital and in-clinic experience. Our mobile app has assessment and triage, very engaging digital therapy, almost a Peloton meets physical therapy-like experience. And we support care navigation, are also rolling out really exciting camera motion capture. We also track outcomes and match that to exercise progression, really empowering providers and payers with industry-leading therapy outcome measures. We work with providers to, on the right side of this chart, you're seeing the in-clinic versus the digital to really create a feedback loop. And the new CPT codes now enable providers to generate $250 in new revenue per patient enrolled, and then north of $30,000 per provider as well in new revenue through these CPT codes. And we enable providers to also track their patients. So they can track at a population health level and then track individual patients, how many therapy sessions they're completing and their pain and function measures over time. And that's Limber.
Thank you so much, Michael. All right, and last but not least, we have the Collaboratory.
Perfect. So hello, everyone, and thanks for having us here today. My name is Nick Lilovich, and I'm the CEO of the Collaboratory. We founded this company to solve a problem. Data overload in the biopharma industry is making innovation harder and more expensive. Throughout history, most innovations occur when experts are able to connect the dots between information they already have and new data produced by others. Unfortunately, connecting these data dots in biopharma is becoming almost impossible. Pharma companies now collect and store many millions of unstructured and siloed internal documents from hundreds of drugs and thousands of past clinical trials, as the rate of new public scientific research also grows exponentially. How can one research team possibly keep all of that technical, clinical, and real-world context in their heads at once? Well, they don't. Hardly any of this data is reused effectively. Therefore, even though the biopharma industry spends $1 trillion per year discovering and delivering new medical treatments, the time to market for new drugs keeps increasing and the failure rate of clinical trials keeps rising. Today, the average cost of developing a single new drug is over $2 billion. The upshot? Billions of innovation dollars are being wasted every year. And this is the problem that our company, the Collaboratory, was founded to solve. We've built the first comprehensive discovery platform for biopharma companies to connect the right people to the right data at the right time. We use cutting-edge natural language processing technology to automatically curate the most useful technical information out of the millions of documents within a company. This platform includes a suite of research tools, each of which help companies reduce time to market for new drugs and improve the likelihood of success at each stage of the drug discovery process. This is a big market opportunity. We're focused on mid-market biopharma as a beachhead where we can refine our product, develop case studies, and get referenceable customers. That will enable our expansion to all of biopharma and beyond. I'm representing an experienced team, and we bring a unique blend of machine learning, sales, operations, strategy, software engineering, and pharma expertise. We are committed to solving this problem. And more importantly, we're already delivering value to our first customers while building a healthy pipeline for the future. All the while, we'll be collecting distinctive data, increasing our competitive advantage, and improving our ability to deliver the right data to the right people at the right time. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Nick. And I want to say thank you to all of the teams for the amazing presentations and the time they spent this week talking with the Nemera Labs group. All of your solutions are extremely important and unique in the mission to accelerate the pace of change of healthcare. And with that, I will pass it over to Steve to announce the winners.
We do have our top three, and I'll start with third place first. We have Limber Health in third place. So congratulations to Limber Health. Really nice pitch. And it seems like the company's got some really strong traction and really moving forward. I think the judges were really impressed with the original pitch deck, and even the 2-minute pitch deck really came across as a solid overview of what they're trying to do. So congratulations, Limber Health. Second place, Neurostasis. Again, another great group. Did a great job walking through all the content, really an area of need. And I think it responded well to all the judges, and the technology seems to be on a good path. So we're excited to say that Neurostasis is number 2. And then first place is OnAcoustics. Again, Beth, I think, did a great job presenting the content, and really an area of growing concern in the industry. So it has the potential to have a big impact on people's lives, and it's great to see the technology moving forward. So phenomenal work, and congratulations. So if I can, Sam, I'm gonna wrap this up and just say thanks to all the presenters, the judges, the supporters and sponsors. This is our 9th year running this event. I think next year we hope to be back in person, but I think there'll always be a digital angle to this as well, moving forward. Cheers to all. And again, congratulations to the winning teams.